that you gave up your Friday night. So I feel like you get extra bonus points. So
Thank you for having me.
really appreciate it. You know, I always do some like looking at people's interviews beforehand. And I knew I already liked you, but I extra liked you when you said that Matilda was your favorite movie. Because I really fuck with Matilda. Like it was my favorite book growing up. I loved it. So I'm already a fan.
Yeah, I used to watch the movie like 10 times at once, just like over and over all day.
Yeah. Did you ever read the book?
No, never.
Okay.
Just a movie.
I would recommend. It was my favorite book growing up. Anyways, I was a big fan of that. You're coming off of a great last fight, which is awesome. But I want to kind of jump back into your early life and hear a little bit about like how you got started with MMA. I know you had a really interesting transition from Mexico to Canada in your early life. So if you could just start wherever feels comfortable.
Well, it's always since I was like a little kid.
Yeah.
I've been always super active or super, I always wanted to do something. I was never the type of kid to be doing art, just sitting,
Yeah.
I was always like jumping around, breaking things, running. And so my parents always tried to put me on sports and try to make me tired.
Yeah.
Which I was never tired. And then eventually when I grew up, my mom put me into judo. So I was doing that, and then really quick I did really well because just by my energy and strength and it's funny, like the moms of the girls who say like, I don't want my daughter to go with her because they all end up crying. Yeah. So then I had to go with the boys, and then so I always been just with the boys.
Yeah.
So and honestly, I just feel more comfortable too with the boys because that's what I brought up to, right?
Right.
And then I started growing up. Whatever, I quit judo. My body started changing. Everything started hurting. So then move on for a little bit. Years go by. We end up in Canada. Again, like the story of a lot. I had said the story a lot of times. We had to leave Mexico for security reasons. And once we go here, it was from scratch. I go back. When we were in Mexico, we have a normal life, a business. My dad had the business. We were living good life, When we get to Canada, we start from scratch, from zero. We had nothing.
Yeah. And if you don't mind, I know a lot of the audience may not be familiar with that story. You don't have to tell like all of the details, but a quick, like why you guys went to Vancouver.
Yeah. So, my dad had to deal with some security issues and he just decided to remove the family and himself from that just because we are 4 girls, my mom and totally, him. And he was just worried about us. Once we get here, then he's like, okay, start from scratch because you pretty much, when you come here in that situation, it was like, forget what happened. But the funny part was, of course, my dad is not going to tell me at 14, you had to forget about your life. There is no way I'm going to understand that.
That's what I wanted to ask you about because people kind of gloss over that part. I feel like in interviews, like you didn't know that you were moving to Vancouver. It was like, okay, we're going to Disneyland, right?
Yeah.
It's one thing to do that when you're like 5 because you adjust, you're like a little kid, but you're 14.
Yeah.
That must have been a really tough transition.
Yeah, it was really hard. I had my friends, my life, you're 14, you're a teenager. You think you have everything set up, right? And they say, we're going to Disneyland. I was still something inside me. It says like, no, it's something else is going on. But I just didn't know what. And then, of course, I'm 14. It's not that I can just not listen to my parents, right? Then once, we're flying. I'm crying. It was 5 hours. We flew from Mexico City to here.
So you really knew something was up.
Yeah. I was crying. We get to Vancouver. Anyway, we made it. We get to this hotel, but I was used to, every time my family and I will go to a hotel, we're used to seeing the beach. There is a swimming pool. There is, it's just like a vacation stuff.
Yeah.
But it didn't look like a vacation. It looked really different. It was in New West, in Royal Oak. I think it's called Royal Oak. Anyway, so I'm like, what is a swimming pool? What is this? What is that? Well, nothing, right? The next day, I'm still crying. I'm crying the whole way, the whole time, the taxi ride. Like, I can still remember this as if it was yesterday.
And you still have no idea why you're in Vancouver.
Yeah, no, but like now I'm like, okay, what's going on? Like, I say, what is Disneyland? You know, what happened to Disneyland? He says, oh, change your plans. Then I was like, that doesn't sound good. The next, I'm crying. I couldn't sleep. Like, this is horrible, you know. I'm crying. Then I said, okay, just tell me the next day. I was like, just tell me what's happening. Like, just tell me. Because I was 14, but I was pretty mature, you know. Then he was like, well, my parents just pretty much said, like, this is your new home. Like, this is where we're going to stay. Just like that. When I hear that, I felt like someone put me in a box, like stuck, like there is nowhere to run. Then you know, crying. Then we didn't speak the language, no English, no work, no school, nothing. It was just like, you guys are alone, right? Then my dad didn't even have work here yet. But then we went for walks, you know, during the week, trying to figure it out what's going to happen. Thankfully, my dad is really, like, quick. And I mean, he had to. We are 4 girls, you know, like 4 kids that were like, I was the oldest. I was 14. The youngest was Anna, which was maybe 8 at that time.
Did you feel like you had to kind of make things better for younger sisters at the time, or were you just like in your own head about how awful
I
it
was so upset.
Yeah.
They were the youngest ones. They were upset too, but no, just because they're little friends by the house, but no, like they didn't really understood exactly what was going on. But
have your whole world ripped out from under you at 14, where like at that age, your friends are everything. Like that, everything means so much to you. Yeah. It was really hard.
Of course, I was like a teenager. I was okay as soon as in Mexico, I think it's 18 when you are like
an adult.
An adult. So like, when I'm 18, I want to go back and I don't care. You know, I was so rebel.
Yeah, rebellious.
Yeah. And then eventually, you know, you have to understand that, you know, you just have to make it work, trying to make it work. Some of my parents too. My mom wasn't happy either. My dad, I'm sure he didn't want to be here either. Yeah. It's just the circumstances, you know. You know, time goes by. He gets. Oh, this is a funny story. He gets a job as a painter. He had never painted before. You know, like, we have done jobs that we never thought we were going to do.
Lie on your resume type of.
Like, my resume is like this big now because thanks to Canada. But, you know, I'm so thankful.
Yeah.
So this time he gets a job as a painter.
Okay.
He never painted before. He's scared of heights. He goes to this, they were painting some houses, I think. Yeah. Then he's like, okay, take the ladder. You know, the ladder is like so big. He doesn't even know how. Like, he used to have his own business. He was used to tell people what to do. Now he's telling people telling him what to do and like painting things that he have never done. Then they say to him, don't mess up with the floor, the paint, blah, 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 go up there and paint up there. You know, he doesn't like heights. He messed up.
He doesn't like heights, and he decided to be a painter. Yeah.
Well, it's not like he decided. It was just an opportunity that came by.
Yeah.
And we're 4 kids. Like, you had to go to work, man, right? Yeah. Like he was alone pretty much, you know. Then he comes back to where we were staying with his lunch bag. He was still in the lunch. We hear the knock at the door. We look with the little thing, you know, see who that is. It was my dad. And then we open the door. What the hell? It was before lunchtime. His lunch was already like full here. He's like, ma'am, they just say, go home. Let's go home. Like, go home. Like, go. I don't want you here. Go, right? They kicked him out of the job. It was like, for him, it was really hard. Then we had this little, I don't know, it was like a little translator, a little computer, and like little books that we bought. So every time we wanted to communicate, we will type it there and we will just show people what we were trying to say because, you know, it was hard. Then that day when he got there, he's like, you know what, girls, let's go.
Yeah.
We walk. He used to sell and buy cars in Mexico. Mm-hmm. So he started cleaning them. So we went to so many dealerships to ask for a job for my dad. The four of us and my dad just walking. My at this time, my mom got a job with someone, so she was already working. She wasn't with us.
So he's showing up to these job interviews with 4 kids.
4 kids, yeah, yeah.
Please hire me.
Yeah, they have to eat. They eat a lot. Yeah. So it was like, we didn't speak in English.
Yeah.
Neither of him. So we will. I never forget this dealership. He actually took us inside the office, and he actually opened Google, because our little computer thing, it was like this big. It was so hard to type everything. So he actually took us in, and then we type everything, and he got the job, which he was cleaning cars. Right? Okay, yeah, man, come tomorrow. You're getting minimal wage. I forgot what it was, like $10. I don't know. And next day he gets to work. He works there for about maybe a week or 2. Like, he's doing great. He's like thinking, how can I make this a faster process? So he comes out like, I want to buy a van, a truck. I want to buy my own vacuum, and I'm going to buy my own products.
It's in a mobile detail.
I want a mobile detail.
Yeah, my boyfriend did that for a while.
Yeah. So then me and my dad and myself used to go around houses too. Hi. This was
you gotta
me.
put the cute little girls in the front to sell it.
This was me. My dad and me wash your car. Like that. Some people, they will just close the door in their face, right? And then it was like, man, okay, next house. We'll go to the next one. And then we made a lot of friends like that. Like, because like, you don't see that in Canada. Like, people don't really do that here. Mm-hmm. Like, it's like, what, Then eventually you get some customers, and it's like every 2 weeks or every week, whatever. But we used to get lost in the city too, because like we didn't have the map on our Google, on the cell phone. We had a paper map. Like,
and you don't speak the language.
And we don't speak the language. So we're just trying to figure it out, try to ask people, like, where is this place where we're trying to get to? It was really funny.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
How long did it take for you to, because clearly your dad cares so much about your family, right? Mm-hmm. He was just doing things to provide for your family and keep you guys safe. But I feel like I would be really mad for a while at my parents. Did it take you a little bit of time?
I was pretty mad, but at the same time, like, time passes, and it's like, okay, for how long are you going to be mad with your parents? Like,
you're working with them every day. You're going to,
But honestly, I'm so glad everything happened the way it did. Like, it just showed us so much, like, to my sisters and myself and my parents too. So like, he, you see the grow, how you start growing. Like, now, like, little steps. Okay, we were living at this shitty place, then we moved. Oh, it was so hard to find a place too, because we were 4 kids, mom and dad, like a lot of people. I
don't know how it works in Canada, but you don't have like rental history and like things to show that you'd be a good tenant.
Yeah, exactly. Probably. And like, okay, we cannot afford a place that has a room for each kid, or even, like 3 rooms. Like, it was like the like, it doesn't make sense, like, for the money, right? So where we were living, he was painting to pay half rent with some work, and the other with money, So we were just hustling. Every day was a hustle. So finally we got, I think it was a basement, and it was like 2 rooms, one for my parents and another one for 4 kids. So he got us beds like this. How do you say
the bunk beds?
The bunk beds, yeah. It was amazing. And it was a small, cute place. And then slowly, move to rent to a bigger one. And then eventually he got to buy his apartment, little apartment, Then eventually sold that one. Then he got a townhouse, Then eventually he bought a little bit of bigger townhouse. So then you see, when you are in it, it's really hard to see it, because you're just like, working, right? It's hard to see it. But now when you look back, it's like, oh my gosh, like, it's like,
so much.
Yeah, like, I drive by the hotel where we used to stay or live in the beginning, because it was like shitty, really shitty place. And And he's like, oh my gosh, we used to live up there. Like he's pretty cool, I think. But like it was hard at the
And it probably taught you a lot of like, you had a pretty good life back, in your early childhood. But when you're just given that, or you spend your childhood in that, you don't really appreciate like working hard to the same extent that you probably learned when you had to hustle for everything that you got.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not like in Mexico either. My dad never gave me everything, just like, it is everything. Like I was always really like, he's like, no. You had to work to earn things, right? So he will, clean the car, so then I'll give you whatever. Or you can go over here. It was never like, here is everything. But when I go here, it was like,
it was for real now. You can't eat.
Yeah, like now you had to, like I was cleaning the bar on Sundays, because at the hotel, it was a bar underneath. So then I was like, okay, what can I do to make some money so I can make calls to my friends, to buy a little bit of my stuff, because it wasn't extra money to be like, oh, here, go over there and buy whatever you want. No? So then I asked for a job, and then I was cleaning pukes. I was cleaning like so many, like things that you will find in a bar, like really disgusting on a Sunday morning, Then eventually I clean houses. Then eventually I was babysitting. Then, then cleaning more houses. Then eventually I was working for someone. Then me and my mom started something together. And then my dad also, he wasn't like mobile detailing anymore. He found a place. And then everything just started getting better. Obviously, it was always a hassle. It was never easy. Yeah. But it was always like, okay, one step. Okay, half a step. Okay, one step back. Okay, two forward, something like that. Then now it's okay, I want to fight. Okay, well, I had to find a gym. Okay, then I had to do this. Then now I had to do that. Then also, like, even when I was when I started fighting or training, I guess, I was just working. I was cleaning the gym so I could train, because I had the money to pay for the membership. And then it's just always like, okay, I want to be here, but let me do this so I can be here. I was always like trying to do that stuff.
Yeah.
And then just like hustling.
Always hustling.
And then now I'm here, we're here, and then look back and it's like, holy moly. Like,
accomplished so much. It's crazy. Yeah. So I don't have firsthand experience with this, but for example, my boyfriend, he's from Chiapas, and he also has American citizenship, so he's also a dual citizen. And he spent time in both of his life living in those places. And he says that he never really feel like he's from neither here nor there, right? He's like, he doesn't really have a place he really feels like he belongs in. Mm-hmm. What was it like having that dual citizenship, or like trying to navigate your belonging in two different places? Do you feel Canadian or do you feel Mexican?
Yeah. I always say that I have both, and I'm pretty blessed and happy to have both, just because like I'm Mexican. I'm born in Mexico. I had my childhood in Mexico, but when I got to Canada, I had to become an adult. I had to learn. I had to work. I had to learn a lot of stuff, because like it's so much different. It's two different worlds, and new language, everything. Like it's just no family. It was just my mom, dad, my sisters. So it kind of, we just become more together, reunion. More tight. Yeah. Because we had either it was us, but then. When I went back to Mexico, it was really it was hard. It was different. It was like, oh man, like it's so different. But then now that I've been going back and forth, I got to spend more time in Mexico and stuff. I'm like, damn, like I love Mexico, but I love Canada, and like I don't want to leave any of those, like any of the two places. I want to be in both places at the same time if I could. But now I'm lucky that I can be here. I can go back there, then I can come back. And, I have a lot of support from Mexicans, from Mexico. And I don't know, it's just so cool. It's so cool to have both.
So what made you start fighting initially? I know you tell this story about, I think, maybe watching Ronda Rousey or someone fight and just being like, I want to do that. Could you tell me a bit more about that, or what inside you made you want to do that?
Well, actually, since I was a little kid, my mom would put me into playgrounds, and then I was always the one fighting, making the kids cry, pushing them, biting
Okay,
them, just
yeah.
doing all of that stuff. It was funny. My mom was pregnant, and then this woman came, and he's like, you gotta tie up your kid, because like I was, turbo all the time. So it's like, you gotta tie her up, and my mom was angry too because I'm her child.
Yeah.
Maybe you should teach your daughter how to fight. I mean, what can she say?
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's like I always had the fire, the fighting in me, and then I used to watch WWE. I was like, I want to do that, like throwing things, throwing people, making people fly, just jump on top of each other, And eventually, once I saw the UFC, or was I don't know if it was the UFC or Strikeforce at
Strikeforce first, I think.
Yeah. Well, after. I knew it was first, but I don't know if Ronda was already fighting in the UFC.
No, she was Strikeforce first.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know which one.
I don't know
watching.
which one I was. Okay.
I
don't know.
I gotcha.
To be honest,
I gotcha.
I had no idea what I was watching. All I knew is like she's doing judo. I did judo because I also joined judo at some point in Canada. I was like, I can do that. If she's doing it, I can do that. She went to the Olympics. She's great judoka, and then I didn't go that far, but I was in my head. I was like, if she's doing it, I can do it. So she was like the first female, kind of like it pushed me to do it. Then I just find the nearest gym where I was living at that time. I started training there. And then I just show up and I told the coach, or I messaged him. I don't even want to say I want to be an MMA fighter. I couldn't even say it with the words because I was like, that is like, it was hard. Not the English barrier. It was just I can't believe it. Like, am I actually want to do this? Like it was hard.
You were unsure.
It was even hard to say it myself. But then I told the coach, I was like, I want to fight like a real fight. And then he's like, you want to do MMA? I'm like, yeah, I want to do that, Yeah. Then he's like, okay, well, just come every day and start training. So I was doing kickboxing classes, jiu-jitsu classes, the other I was training like 3-4 hours a day just because I was new. I just wanted to get good quick. But I was scared to get punched. Like, I was like, put me to sparring, give me sparring. Then okay,
you sparred.
Fine, go spar. And then I'll go like, no.
It's way more, when you first start sparring, it's way more things than you think it's going to be.
Yeah.
Like, it looks simple, but it's not. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Then I was like, okay, I went to Montreal for a month. I was like, okay, if I want to be a fighter, I want to stay over here at the dorms. I stay at the dorms in TriStar.
Okay.
I want to stay here for a month. I cry every day because now it's been a long time without being separated from my family. So it was really hard for me not be with my family. And now I'm in a different city. And now it's no English or Spanish, it's French. You know?
Jeez.
I was like, dang. But it helped me a lot to grow.
Yeah.
As, everything. Get there. Now I shadow boxing, it was like I was embarrassed to shadow box, so I was doing push-ups on the side. I was holding my plank to see if someone will come and be like, damn, you hold a long plank, someone talk to me please. I had no idea.
It's crazy how you're such a confident fighter now, but so many people I talk to have that experience of when they first start. They're like, I cried every day. I just had my last interview with Vanessa, and she was like, I cried after jiu-jitsu every single day. For a while. It's just a really normal experience. I even have friends, one of my girlfriends is one champion, and she talks about like feeling that way before every fight.
Yeah. It's crazy, that feeling. But now I'm there, and then I was like, okay, well, and then I see all these fighters, right? I was staying at the dorm, so there is more fighters. I was like, everyone is acting weird. It's just a different environment. I have never been around, of course. And I'm like, oh, I don't think I can be a fighter. Like, because I didn't know. Like, I didn't know anything. Then I started training. Then a week later, I go into the pro.
Oh, the pro classes?
The pro class to spar on a weekend.
How was that?
Faraz kicked me out. It's like, have you fight? I'm like, no. What the hell are you doing here? He's like, this is not a class that you should be, like, you gotta, leave. And then I'm like, Okay, yeah, I should. I want to get hurt. Like, they were trying to kill each other.
Yeah.
I was
Those
trying.
pro-only classes.
Yeah, I was trying to spar with the UFC fighters already at the time, which I had no fights. I left and then I came back. When I was supposed to. But anyway, eventually, 2 years later, I get my first amateur fight. Mm-hmm. I was so scared, like just like Vanessa was saying. I remember it was here local. I get into the elevator. I was warming up downstairs. I get to elevator to go upstairs to go in the ring. Well, first of all, when I told my parents I'm fighting, they're like, "Yeah, right. You're crazy. There is no way." Then I'm okay. There is the tickets. See you there, Friday night, 7. Yeah. Don't miss it. You show up. Poor parents. I lost, but it doesn't matter. I got into the elevator and then I'm just with my gloves. I'm like, what the hell am I doing? Like, I'm shaking. I'm so scared. I'm like, then now I put extra pressure on myself because I had the greatest idea to invite so many people and everyone came. Yeah. So now I have so much pressure.
You have to do it now. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in the ring. I see my mom. I'm like, it's just like, okay. Then I was so nervous. Like the feeling of, what if I just run away? What if I just say,
I felt that way before my first. Like, I feel like I was shaking. Yeah. And I was trying to, because they tell you, like, deep breathe, you're not scared, you're excited. None of it worked. I was so terrified.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, I was getting nervous, like, the first fight, the second one, the third one, the fourth one, like, and then the people wouldn't beat me. I would beat myself because I was so nervous that I would freeze. Yeah. And then I'm like, well, if I throw this, then they're going to punch me this way. Yeah. If I throw this, they're going to punch me this way. And then I just didn't want to punch. And then
it's a mindset thing. It's not even a skill thing.
Yeah,
at that
exactly.
point.
Yeah. But at the gym, I was doing great. So at that time, my coaches were like, you're doing great at the gym. The nerves, you just got to get rid of those. And at your 10th fight as an amateur, I think you're going to get it. And yeah, I had 10 MMA fights. And then in the last one, I was like, oh, okay, got it. Because I was like trying new things every time. Like, okay, do I need to be angry? Do I need to be happy? Do I need to be, after 3 or 4, now is that time to try things. So I works for you.
Figure out where you're going to pull from emotionally.
Yeah. And like for me, it works being happy. I'm always happy. I'm always in a good mood. So then I'm like, that's how I'm at the gym. Yeah. Why am I going to be angry when I want to fight?
I feel like a lot of guys especially will be the like, I don't know if it's an ego thing, but a lot of times they'll pull from anger or pull from like a chip on their shoulder. And that's where a lot of guys get their drive. Not all. Yeah. Plenty of guys are happy going in there. But I feel like it's less the case for women. Okay, guys, this show was brought to you by the best sports book in the game, MyBookie. Look, I love watching fights, obviously, but my favorite way to kind of like up the ante a little bit, make things a little bit more interesting, is throwing a wager on it. Now, some of you guys may know this already, but I actually started my combat sports journey with Muay Thai. And Muay Thai in Thailand, like, you can't have that without sports betting. I have so many fond memories of betting on a fight with my trainer in Thailand while we're watching some fights, or with like random people around me. It always made things so much more fun. It was a way to connect with people. And MyBookie is the modern 21st century version of this. It gives you like a little extra personal stake in a fight. So if you want to do it, MyBookie is the place to do it. And on a personal note, I love MyBookie. I've really enjoyed working with them. They have been so supportive of this project. They've been awesome to work with. So if you want to make a parlay on some upcoming fights and support the show, like, the best way to do that is going to mybookie.com and using code Kennedy. It helps me, it helps the show. It also gives you a 50% bonus on a deposit of up to $1,000, so it helps you. Once again, that is code Kennedy, Kennedy. Okay, back to the show.
Yeah. I put my dancing music, my salsa music or whatever. I like to listen to that. And that time I just dance, warm up, dance. And, right now what has helped me a lot is my sister, that she's in my corner. Like, she was in my corner in my last fight, and she did the whole camp with me, Anna. And it was, the greatest camp ever. And I just like, okay, I need you every camp here with me. And then I think it's going to happen. So I'm pretty happy about that. And then, so through pro, I turned pro. short notice, 2 weeks notice. I had to cut so much weight. I went to Denver, broke my hand.
Did you know, because I know going pro is like, it's a big decision,
Yeah.
just deciding when you want to make that jump. Did you kind of think like, okay, sometime in the next few months I want to do it? Or was it just offered to you and you're like, all right, guess it's now?
Yeah, we knew it was after the last fight that I had. I won a belt in Bellingham.
Okay.
And the coach was like, you're ready.
Okay.
Let's go pro. Let's just fight. But now I had a problem finding fights. No, because now like my skills were getting better. And then I was showing in the fights. Not like in the beginning, you know, it was a little bit different, so it was hard to find fights. So I got this opponent, Jenna, great girl, in Denver, short notice. We flew there, took it, and broke my hand in the first round.
Oh,
right
no.
Yeah. I was like, boom. And then I was like, I have never broke a bone before. So I was like, I felt like it was something stuck, so I kept shaking it, right? Like, okay, but every time, and then I keep throwing it, but every time I would throw it was like it was just not working.
You must have really broken it then. Because I feel like most people, their knuckle, you can you make it through the fight.
No, the bone was like this. Like I have a plate here. I had a surgery after. So then they're like, oh, you broke your hand. I'm like, no way. Like my hand, it was this big. And then I'm like, no way. It's just a little flame, right? Because like it was painful.
Yeah.
But I have a really high tolerance pain.
Yeah, and the adrenaline probably carries you through a bit.
Yeah, but even later, like, it hurts, but like, it's not like people describe broken bone like really painful.
Like you're screaming on the ground.
Yeah, but I was like, I mean, it hurts, but it's not that bad.
Right.
Then when they took the X-ray and that like the bone is like this, I'm like, oh yeah, it's broken, you know.
Yeah.
Then I had the surgery, whatever. Then
I
take
had
a fight.
Similar experience. I mean, not similar. I'm a very low level fighter, but I was training in Thailand in a camp, and I fractured my back during when I was doing kicks. But I was like, oh, it can't be broken or anything because it doesn't hurt that bad. It's a pulled muscle. I spent weeks training on it, and it got to the point where I couldn't walk. I finally got an MRI, and they're like, yeah, you broke your back.
Oh my God, you broke your back?
I didn't think it would hurt that bad. It's similar. But yeah, sometimes bone breaks.
You had surgery and?
I just had to not exercise for 8 months. It was a really hairline break. I couldn't walk up for a while. Yeah. And then I actually didn't need surgery, which was great.
Oh my gosh, that's good.
But I know that feeling. That's
scary. Breaking your back, that must be really scary.
Yeah.
I hurt my back at one point doing deadlifts or squatting.
Yeah, I can't do deadlifts anymore. My lower back kills me.
But it's scary.
Yeah.
I couldn't walk and just what's happening?
You do everything with your back too.
Really
the kicks, forget about it. Everything's about your hips.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
But, sorry, your hand.
It's okay. Get better, then I get another fight, then I get another fight. I think I go 4 fights. And then I go to fight Vanessa.
Yeah.
She was my 4th fight or my 5th fight. I forget. It was amazing fight.
That was a sick fight.
Oh yeah. My gosh. That's probably the fight that I have enjoyed the most.
And I feel like that's the one that really if you talk about a career defining fight for you so far, that one, if you are watching and you haven't seen Loopy fight Vanessa Demopoulos, go watch that because that is it's one of the best women's fights I've seen. It was a great fight.
It was amazing. She kept coming. I was like, oh my gosh, what is she gonna go down?
Because you can both bring it. You're both very tough.
Yeah, it was It was really good. And then after that, I remember I saw her. I was stitch somewhere over here. She also was going to stitches. I went to see her. I started crying. I was like, I'm sorry. They made me do it.
I had to.
But we became friends after that, and she's great. And I was, I like that. We got to meet like that, and we had to share that moment. And thanks to her, we had this fight. Thanks to both, I guess, our skills at that time.
Yeah, you both really got to show you're ready to compete at the elite level. It's so interesting how in MMA, it's just such a male-dominated sport, right? There's just so many more men fighters than women. Usually at the gym, sometimes you'll be the only woman training at your level. So the people that you can most relate to are the girls who are training, but those are the people you most relate to are the people that have to be your opponents. Yeah. That you have to fight.
Yeah, honestly, after I fight them, I'm super nice, you know. If I see them after, I try to hug them. Oh, let's train, you know. Like, I mean, we already fought. Why not? Let's train.
Yeah, we did our job.
Yeah, and you know, if they don't want to talk to me, then that's fine. You know, that's fine. Not a big deal. But most of the time, they're really nice.
Yeah.
You know, so I get to have a friend, a new training partner. So it's great. And then I go to the UFC after Vanessa. That was hard. It was the COVID. I was in COVID. I just got sick. I was getting over the virus.
Yeah.
You know, I got it. But not too bad. But I was just eating and lifting before I got sick. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I'm like 5'2", like I'm so like short. And then I went up to 140.
Okay, yeah.
Like pretty thick.
Yeah.
You know, I was just sitting and there was nothing going on.
That's a lot of weight to cut for a fight.
Yeah. Then Jason House called me, my manager. Mm-hmm. I was like, hey, Loopy. I was at Costco. Video called me. He's like, hey, Loopy, you want to fight in the UFC with Jessica Penney? And then I'm like,
oh, my gosh.
I'm like, well, yeah. Right? Then I was like, can we do catch weight? No. I was like, okay, let's do it. Like, that was my shot. That was my opportunity. I had to do it.
How much time did you have?
2 weeks. So he's like, you had to find somewhere to go in the U.S. just so it's easier to do some like visa stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
For work, right? So then I flew to Denver. I have my friend Carson. I love you. I stay with her. She helped me so much. I stay with her as soon as I get the call, I booked the flight. The next day, I was flying out to see her. So I got to train there for 2 weeks, and I was just trying to get down to my weight, to the weight. So I wasn't barely eating, and Rose was getting ready. That was her last week I think she was fighting Wei Lee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she was
remember that
fighting Wei Lee at that time, yeah. Then I got to spar with Rose, which that was pretty cool. I mean, it was really hard because I was barely eating and I was high elevation and it was a lot. I feel so sick after. I have never felt like that. Like it was just like tunnel vision. I'm like, I felt like I was dying. I'm like, there is no way I want to make it to the fight. Like,
well, you can't eat for 2 weeks, losing that kind of weight.
It was really hard. It was really, really tough.
Do you remember how much you had to cut, like in the sauna?
Like 12 pounds. A lot. When I go to Vegas, it was in Vegas, I was already, depleted because in the past 2 weeks I haven't.
You haven't eaten anything.
Eat properly and stuff. So then get to 5 week. Pretty much when they're doing my photo shoots and then, you're flexing to do your photo shoots. I'm cramping because, I was drinking so little. It was just horrible experience. It was horrible. Like, I was so happy, but not so happy,
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. I get to wake at, that was one of the most, like, I started wake up probably like at 3 or 4. And then I didn't finish until, I don't know, like until 10 or 11. And then in the morning I had to do more. Like, it was brutal. And as a girl, like, it's pretty tough to go away.
That is a ton. 12 pounds after you've been doing that and you're that depleted is an insane amount.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
After I made weight, we did it. I weigh myself. Then I get to drink and eat and all of that stuff. Mm-hmm. The next day to step into the cage, I blew up. I was 135. I was like,
damn.
You're
like, hell
don't go watch that fight. I look like a balloon. And then
wow.
And then I had the greatest idea, like maybe like a month before, to do like a haircut that I shaved this part.
Oh yeah.
I looked like a balloon with a weird haircut. Like, it wasn't pretty at all. Like, every time I look at that, I'm like, what? That I was thinking. My parents told me not to do it. My sisters told me, like, no way, don't do it. And then, of course, I'm like, you're telling not to do it?
Yeah.
I want to do it.
Of course, it's stubborn.
Yeah, it was bad.
It's funny how, like, it's crazy how this thing that you've worked for so long, like getting your UFC shot, that's like this big thing. It it never turns out how you think it's going to in the moment. You're like, this sucks. Like, I wanted this for so long and it's horrible.
Yeah, like, honestly, like, at the fight day finally comes, right? I was looking myself in the mirror, like, I'm like, okay, you're here. I mean, I never say I made it, because you don't made it until you're a champion, until you have a name in the UFC, because signing a contract doesn't really mean anything.
Right.
And, like, yeah, you have a contract, but if they decided not to have you there, you have to fight.
You have to prove yourself.
You have to prove yourself. Yeah, that's always in the back. Like, that's what I think always. Even now, like, yeah, I've been in UFC now for about, like, 3 years. I have so many fights and everything, but in my head, I'm like, I still need to prove myself. I still need to get better, because everyone is getting better. Everyone is improving. Everyone, is new.
It's nonstop.
It's nonstop. It's always a constant, like, new, get better, I forgot why I go here. Oh, yeah.
You look at yourself in the mirror.
Yes. Then I'm like, come on, you're here. Splash my face with the water, like, you're here, let's go. But I was so, like, I'm like, I don't want to fight. Like, I feel like needles in the back of my eyes, just like, because, I drank so much stuff, and I eat so much food to get big and whatever, to hydrate myself, sorry. But your body can only absorb so much, and I was like, okay, well, I'm here now, doesn't matter. Let's just get in there and do your best. And I did my best. And I did a lot of good things. Like, when I watched the fight, I'm like, damn, like, for the way I was feeling, and I did that performance. I didn't win.
Yeah.
But I did perform, like, I didn't look like how I felt. So I'm like, it's good. So honestly, that gives me a lot of confidence.
That you can perform.
That I can perform.
At that level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
you've kind of crushed it since. I want to make sure I have time to just, like, cover on the high level that you are one of the most active fighters ever. I think you're averaging, since you got into the UFC, like, over 4 fights a year, which is unheard of. I can't believe you haven't gotten injured. Like, that's crazy. yeah. Knock on wood. Didn't you once take a fight that, like, within a week, with 1 week? Tell me about that. That is, when I read that, I had to, like, double read it, because that's the most insane thing. Yeah,
so that was my second fight in the UFC with Silvana. And I don't remember if I finished in the first round or in the second round. It was an armbar. But I didn't took any damage. It was clean.
Okay.
Good. I win, perfect, good job. I go to Georgia to my sister. I have another sister in Georgia. And Jason called me again that was on a Sunday. I flew out on a Sunday. I go there Sunday night. I was Monday, Tuesday. Tuesday, I went for a run, and I get a call from Jason. Like, hey, Loopy, how are you? I'm like, hi, good, blah, 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 Then he's like, do you want to fight this Saturday? I'm like, who? Carolina, her name is. She was like, this tall. So tall.
In a bigger weight class, right?
125.
Yeah.
So I just felt like, to fight for the second time after the first UFC fight. I promised myself I wasn't ever gonna get that big ever again, because it's not good.
A hard cut.
It's not good, and it's not good for your body. I hate weight cuts. Like, I think I got some PTSD for weight cuts. Like, I don't.
They're awful. A weight cut like that. Were you, like, passing out in the sauna and stuff? Okay.
No. I have never passed out in a weight cut, actually.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. But anyway, so I promised myself, of course, and then there is no time to blow up in 3 days either, and then I was gonna fight
higher weight,
a 125. Yeah. So I was 121 when I say, yeah, of course I'll do it. I watch the girl, and then of course when you watch it on TV, it's like, oh yeah, I can be here.
I just won my fight. I'm good.
Course. Yeah, I'm on the high.
No problem.
I can be anybody. Yeah, so I'm like, yeah, why not? Let's do it. I go back to the house running, tell my parents, well, tomorrow I gotta go. I have another fight.
Yeah.
Then my mom thought I was joking, because, like, they never know when I'm joking and when I'm serious, because I'm always joking, but I'm always no joking.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So I was like, no, that's not true. You're crazy. That you just fall. Like, that doesn't happen like that. I'm like, no, for real. Then finally they got it. I started packing. The next day we had to drive like an hour because she lives in like a little town. Took a flight, long flight, go to Vegas, do whatever I had to do. May do the weight. I was 121 something when I make weight. She was 125. Then of course when you step in the cage, she was probably like, I don't know, 140,
Giant,
150.
yeah.
I don't know, but I was still like 121, 122, 123. You know, that was just how I was. And then, you know, I go to fight. I did got her to the ground. I did the first round. I finished with like in an armbar position, and then the time ran out. I was like, dang! But she was so long. Like her arms, like I could touch her with her arms.
Yeah.
She was so tall, so huge. But then I was so glad I did that. It was like Saturday to Saturday. Then boom! Now I broke the record. It's really hard to do that. It's really hard to like not get hurt in a fight, and like, oh yeah, I'll fight next week. You know, like not a lot of people have that.
Especially at that level. People are very protective of their records and like matchups. Maybe in the amateurs, people are like, sure, I'll fight whoever. But it doesn't really happen at that level. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that type of a fight on 7 days notice, you can't really lose, I guess, because even if you lose, people would be like, she fought on 7 days notice. Like, she's awesome. And you're able to like show that you're willing to help the promotion out when they need it.
Yeah, exactly. And I bug Mick, the matchmaker, so much. Like, I still have the messages from after the LFA. I was like, give me a fight. I'm ready. Hello, happy birthday. You know, I will like harass him all the time. And, you know, I see when I read them, I just laugh. And then every time I see him, I'm like, oh, that's so embarrassing. But like, that's so cool at the same time. But then now, like, after he's like, oh, damn, like, she's cool. Like, she's willing to do all of that because, like, also I go back to that's how Canada the move to here helped me so much. Just to make quick, like, oh, you want to do that? Yeah, let's do it. No problem. Mm-hmm. You know, like, I don't hesitate, don't think that much. Don't overthink it because, like, this is my moment and this is now and they're asking me right now and like, will that be another opportunity? I don't know. But like, even if you don't risk it, then what, you know, you're just going to be wondering, oh, well, I could have fought her that day, or, oh, they offered me that fight, but you didn't follow through. Like, I just
You'll never know.
I don't want to live like that.
Do you still feel that way in terms, like, if you got offered a title fight right now?
Oh, I'll say yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Definitely. Like that's why I'm always training. That's why now I don't blow up like I used to. Like I'm always ready. I'm always in like I try to be in like top shape and yeah, maybe I'm not like maybe you know, it's hard to work on your cardio every time when you're trying to get bigger like or to build muscle or to be
you gotta balance it out.
Yeah. But I'm always training. I'm always trying to prove. I'm always trying to just add a little bit something else, a little bit something different just in case. If I get a short notice fight or if I get the belt or if I get anything, I'm ready for it.
So many fighters will say that like, oh, I'm always ready, but they aren't. And you actually seem like you are.
Yeah, it's hard because like
you have to be so disciplined for like years.
Yeah.
And it takes like, I don't know how many hours a day you train, but I know it takes up your whole life.
Yeah.
Basically.
I don't do anything else, to be honest. All I do is train, spend time with my dog, spend time with my family, go back to the gym, do it again. And I have sisters that do wrestling, you know.
They're on the Canada national team, right?
Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah, same. Like, we have the same lifestyle. Like, my mom and my dad, they're really supportive. We all eat healthy, like... Okay, let's do something. We go to the track sometimes all together to do our, you know, to do the workouts, you know, and then bring my dog, and it's just great.
I lived in Thailand for like 2 years, and again, I'm very low level, but I did the whole like training full time thing. I didn't have time to think after training. I thought that I was going to go to Thailand. I was gonna learn Spanish, and I was gonna do this, and I was gonna read all the time. And then I'd go to the beach in between training sessions. And when you're pushing your body that much, I laid in bed. Yeah. Sometimes I'd scroll on my phone, but sometimes I couldn't even do that.
Yeah, it's hard, but I love it. Like,
Yeah.
to be honest, I wouldn't want to do anything else.
I'm super excited to see how your career shapes out because you're fighting so much.
Yeah, I love it. But at the same time, like, like people's like, oh, you done this, blah. But honestly, I don't feel like I feel like I need more.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, no, this is not enough. Like, I need more. So it's always like in my head, I'm like, no, this is, I'm not done. Like, it's like, no, this is easy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not easy.
You got to appreciate how far you've come. You got to take seconds every once in a while to look back.
Yeah, when I look back, I'm like, oh, that's great. But then I still have so much to go, and I cannot take too long thinking of, oh, look at me, wow. I can't.
There's this constant pressure of like age, always.
Yeah.
It's a lot to think about.
Yeah, and if you think about it, it's like as a fighter, you only have this much time, So it's like you have to
get it done.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're gonna look back. It's like, oh, where did the time go?
Awesome. Do you have time for anything else? Like you said, hiking, like any?
Well, I have a dog.
Okay. So you got to take him out for walks. You got to take care of
them walks.
every once in a while.
Yeah. But I'm like, as you say, it's really tiring to
it's tiring on your brain too.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah. But, it's a goal. And I know when I'm done, I'm going to have more time to do other stuff. That I still want to get to WWE. I still want to get to...
That looks like so much fun, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
That just looks like a blast.
Yeah. Yeah, just jumping and flying. And
And you can do it for longer. I mean, like, I know people still get injured, and it's still...
It's a sport,
it's very physical, but it's a little bit different than actually fighting.
Yeah, you're not getting, like, punched in the head.
Exactly.
I want to get into movies. I want to do a lot of stuff. But then right now it's just fighting, and I have no time and no brain for anything else. And
yeah, you really can't. I mean, everyone else is doing that. So you're between Canada and you go to Lobo Gym in Mexico, right? Back and forth?
Right now I'm here.
Right now,
just full time here.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I was there for the last year.
Uh-huh.
Had a few fights with them, and then it was just so hard to travel, for every fight camp and stuff. And I find a home, like a gym here and WKX, and it's been great. I'm really happy I get to be here. I'd love to be here, and I just had the fight in Mexico City, so I got to bring this world to this other world, and like these coaches to the to Mexico, and just to have a whole different experience. So okay, I'm in your world now, come and see my world. And they love it, and it was
the
really
energy must have been insane at that show. I
amazing.
Was going to go, but it ended up not working out, and I was so sad because I know the Mexican people really show up for their fighters, and I know like it must have been such a fun show.
Yeah, it was really fun. It was wow. So when I was waiting to walk out, like to walk to the cage, you have people in the tunnel, right? You have people here, you have people here. There you was like at one point they were just like screaming my name, Loopy, and it was like, and then it's in this place, it's closed, so it's just like my sister was feeling that she wanted to cry. I wanted to cry because it was just the energy. It was just like so overwhelmed, but like so great. Like everyone is screaming great things about you and like your name. Like it was just so great. And I had to scream it. I was gonna cry, or I had to scream really hard and like to let it go.
Yeah, you can't keep it in. Yeah,
a lot. And then I got to scream, and I started working out. I was like, okay, let's go. And yeah, it was great, to be honest.
So awesome.
Yeah,
I hope you're able to take those like little moments along the way as like, okay, this is really special right now. Even though I have all this to do and I'm not finished yet. Like those little moments of appreciating.
Yeah, definitely. Every fight is different. Every fight is like special. Like every fight something happens and I'm like, oh dang, like all those, like I can say like, oh, when I fought this person, I felt like this. When I fought this person, I felt like that. And every time I fight in like when I fought in Vegas for Noche, same. It was I did a great performance. It's just the energy is different, It's just like the what they bring is so special, And like this time I was sick.
Oh, that's right.
I was sick.
Yeah. How sick were you?
I mean,
I know your little viral moment you had, but I don't know what you were sick.
I was sick on Thursday. I went for a walk, and then I still feeling cold. And I told my coach, Jay, I was like, I'm cold. And then he's like, you're cold? Like, it's so hot out. Mm-hmm. Like, he was pretty much sweating.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm cold. Then he's like, that's weird. Then I mention it again. Oh, I'm cold. Like when your skin. But then when you're getting sick and then you feel that feeling.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, I'm getting sick. But I didn't want to say it aloud. So I was like, oh, I'm just not going to say anything anymore. Like, I'm just going to go with the flow.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I didn't have to call a little weight because I never really do. I don't really, for water weight, So then I do the weight, whatever. I go to sleep. I felt so tired. It was just so tired. I weigh myself. I start hydrating on a Friday. I make the weight. I come back. I start drinking and eating and stuff. And then I was just feeling so tired. I was like, I'm so tired. I'm just gonna sleep. And then he thought it was weird, like the way I was acting a little bit. It's like, well, just rest up. I went to do the face off, and then my stomach, he was like, after I started eating and drinking, my stomach, he was just like, not good. Like, he was just like, I was in the bathroom like a lot. And then overnight too, but I was just trying to be like, well, it's gonna settle, it's gonna be fine. I'll be fine. And the adrenaline will kick in. I'll be fine. I do the face off Wayne's. Again, my other coach came with me. I stay so long in the bathroom, and he's like, what is Loopy?
Oh,
right?
No.
Then I came out. He's like, I thought you left me, bro. And I'm like, no, I was just over there
fighting for my life.
Yeah. then anyway, so we do the faces, but I wasn't excited. Like, I was excited, of course.
Yeah.
But my body wasn't like it's usually, like when you feel like,
Yeah.
And then the fight day come, same thing. Like, I'm like, but then I'm just trying to be positive and like not to put that thought in my mind just because
you can't at that point.
You can't. Like, there is no way I'm gonna back out. Doesn't matter what happens in there, I'm gonna do it. So might as well just feel better in your head mentally, right? Go in the fight, and in the second round, like, my stomach, it was just not good, and then I'm like, and then I just said it. I just say things all the time, and it's just who I am, and I don't really care. And then that happened. The camera was right here, and the coach,
like, I'm gonna be talking about this in interviews for the next 3 months.
Yeah, I wasn't really thinking about that at the moment until like later. I started listening and again and again. And I was like, oh dang! I'm like, okay, there is no way I'm getting bullied here. I want to go with this. I'm like, who cares? And then. Yeah. Then now, loopy poopy.
It's funny. And we'll have to wrap up in a sec here, but I actually know 2 other fighters personally who had similar experiences to that, where they sat down with their coach and they're like, I have to poop, like, in the middle. But unfortunately, yours got caught on camera, so you got that. Yeah. But it's not an uncommon experience, I guess. I've learned.
No. Well, you're pushing yourself so much. Your body isn't like under stress. And like, let's say you eat pizza the night before for whatever reason. Like, I don't do, but it just happened that I caught a bug. I think it was a bug going around.
Yeah.
I don't know. But then, when you're pushing yourself that hard, I'm sure your body...
You're pushing your body to its limit.
Yeah, it must be crazy. Like, what are you doing, dude? Like, first you're cutting weight, you're not eating, you deplete yourself. Well, you work so hard, and then now you're depleting yourself, and now you are even depleting more yourself by doing the weight cut, and then now you're trying to...
sick.
Yeah, but then now you're trying to eat and drink, and then now you're trying to fight, like I will understand the body sometimes will be like,
but that was still such an awesome fight. Looking forward, I'm sure you're going to fight very soon because that's what you do. Do you have anything scheduled, or
I don't have anything coming up yet.
Okay. I'm sure it'll be soon.
Yeah, soon I'm sure I'll hear, and I'm still training really hard, and anything comes my way, we will take it and we will be ready.
Well, that's awesome. I'm really excited to see you next time. I will say out of all the interviews I've done, this one went by the fastest because you're such a great speaker and you're such a great storyteller.
Thank you.
So this has been really fun. Where can people find you online?
Loopy Godinez in Instagram and Facebook, TikTok. Yeah, right there.
Okay. Awesome. Again, thanks for spending your Friday night here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.